All right, guys. Evan here with Stadium Rant, bringing you your Week 9 waivers. Week 8 is in the books, and it is a bad week to be a quarterback this week. We got 5 quarterbacks injured, and that's how we're going to start this episode off with the quarterbacks. Now, this is going to be especially important for super flex leagues or 2 QB leagues. I'm going to definitely recommend adding Jaron Hall as he's got the most clear path for rest of season starting, since Kirk Cousins is going to be out the rest of the season. But they also have Nick Mullins. I do expect them to see what they have out of the fifth-round rookie from BYU. I did like the guy's film, and JJ hopefully coming back. He's definitely worth stashing even outside of those 2 QB leagues. So definitely want to add him to your guy. Throw him on your radar and throw in a waiver for him if you could. He's probably going to be pretty competitive though at this point. Gardner Minshew's next on my list here. He's gotten 109 pass attempts over the last 3 weeks, and this offense is about to get a boost now with JT finally back. I expect him to be very serviceable going forward, and as a bye week filler or injury filler for if you got one of those 5 QBs who are injured this week. Now, moving on to the wide receivers, we have Demario Douglas, and I know a few Pats fans, specifically our CEO, who was pretty pumped up about this guy, and ever since the preseason. And with their leading wide receiver Kendrick Bourne out for the season, the Pats are going to need somebody to take a step forward, and I expect that to be Juju. But either way, this does open things up for Douglas. Now, another notable guy to mention in this situation is Kayshon Boutte. He's not worth adding quite yet, but we'll see. Just keep an eye on him. Keep an eye on your radar. Another guy I have on my list for wide receivers, we have Khalil Shakir. Thursday Night Football, he showed out. He was the biggest surprise to me this week. And Josh Allen was spreading the ball around way more than he normally does. And Shakir actually led the team in receiving yards this week, going 6 for 6 for 92 yards. He's worth a flyer, and that offense seems to be heating back up, back to normal. So definitely want to have him, on your waiver wire if you have room for him. Now, moving on to running back, but staying on the Bills, we have the playoff Lenny joining the squad. I love the potential here, and he's a very dependable, goal line guy, or at least has been in the past, and that's exactly what the Bills are looking for. I don't like a 3-headed off the backfield, and that's definitely what they have right now with Cook, Murray, and now Fournette. But so I wouldn't start him. But he's definitely worth keeping, stashing on a roster in case Cook or Murray goes down. Then Lenny would easily work his way back into lineups. Now, a player that used to play but for Buffalo that we have now also in the RB here is Devin Singletary. Making this a nightmare backfield for any Pierce owners out there, myself included in this situation. I am honestly, it's driving me crazy. But he's seen 54 and 40% snap share the past 2 weeks, and for a guy who owns both like me, if I had to start one, I'm I'm now all of a sudden leading towards Singletary. And I do think that this has a lot to do with because he actually sees some receiving work where Pierce sees literally none. But neither have been very effective on the ground. So, but this offense is still heating up, still very strong with C.J. Stroud heading it out there. So I got faith in Singletary. So add him to your lineups. Well, don't start him. Just add him to your waivers. Hopefully you don't have to start him. But moving on to tight ends here, we have Trey McBride, who was suddenly the main focus of the offense here. He got an insane 14 targets. I believe that's the most out of any tight end so far this year in one game. But I wouldn't even expect half of this production going forward every week. But as long as Ertz is out, Trey can be a very valuable asset to your team moving forward. I would definitely start him over a lot of other guys that I have been starting so far, since I tended to not go very high with my draft picks in tight end. So if you didn't draft any good tight ends, this is definitely a guy to make sure you focus on for waivers. Now, the last guy on my list today is Chig Okonkwo. With Levis showing out and showing signs of being an absolute stud, throwing for 4 touchdowns in his first time seeing game action. This offense is now exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing what Okonkwo can do, and if he can continue to see a healthy target share, and Burks is now out of the picture pretty much with going 0, putting up a donut last week on 2 targets, and Chig got 6 targets. He could be the second best targeting option for the Titans there. And if you got Levis at the helm, just dropping these bombs, I think it's worth a shot to be adding him. But yeah, we're gonna keep it short here this week, guys. That's all I got for you. Good luck out there, as these next couple weeks are gonna make or break your playoff chances. Have an out.